Syria, located at the heart of the Middle East, has long been a crossroads of civilizations. Its rich history dates back thousands of years, with ancient cities like Damascus and Aleppo serving as cultural and economic hubs. Over the centuries, Syria has seen the rise and fall of empires, from the Romans to the Ottomans, each leaving an indelible mark on the region's heritage and identity. Its strategic importance, bordering Turkey, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Israel, has made it a focal point of regional power struggles. This geographical positioning has not only influenced its internal dynamics, but also its relationships with neighboring countries. In 2011, Syria's Arab Spring uprisings escalated into a brutal civil war. What began as peaceful protests demanding political reform quickly spiraled out of control. The government's harsh crackdown on demonstrators only fueled the fire, leading to widespread unrest and violence. This conflict drew in global powers, each with its own interests and alliances, transforming Syria into a complex geopolitical chessboard. The involvement of countries like the United States, Russia, Iran, and Turkey has added layers of complexity to an already intricate situation. The Syrian conflict began with peaceful protests against President Bashar al-Assad's regime. These demonstrations were part of a broader wave of uprisings across the Arab world, where citizens demanded an end to autocratic rule and the establishment of democratic governance. The government responded with violence, igniting an armed rebellion. Security forces used live ammunition, tear gas, and mass arrests to suppress the protests, but this only galvanized the opposition. Armed groups began to form, initially to defend protesters, and later to fight for control of territories. The conflict quickly escalated, drawing in external actors and fracturing the country along sectarian and ethnic lines. Various factions, including Kurdish groups, Islamist militants, and secular rebels, vied for power, each with its own vision for Syria's future. The war has resulted in a devastating humanitarian crisis. Cities have been reduced to rubble, and basic infrastructure like hospitals, schools, and water supplies have been destroyed. The human toll is staggering, with countless lives lost and families torn apart. Hundreds of thousands have been killed, and millions more have been displaced, both internally and as refugees in neighboring countries. The refugee crisis has strained resources in host countries like Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey, and has had far-reaching implications for global migration patterns. The conflict has also had a profound impact on the region, contributing to the rise of extremist groups like ISIS and fueling instability in neighboring states. The power vacuum created by the war allowed these groups to gain a foothold, leading to further violence and terror both within Syria and beyond its borders. Understanding the Syrian conflict requires unraveling the intricate web of alliances, rivalries, and foreign interventions that have shaped the country's fate. Diplomatic efforts to resolve the conflict have been ongoing, but achieving a lasting peace remains elusive. The international community continues to grapple with how to address the myriad challenges posed by the war. This essay will delve into the current state of control in Syria, highlighting the key players and the ongoing challenges in this war-torn nation. We will explore the shifting alliances, the humanitarian efforts, and the prospects for peace in a country that has been at the epicenter of one of the most complex and devastating conflicts of our time. Damascus, the capital of Syria, stands as a symbol of Assad's resilience. This ancient city, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world, has seen countless empires rise and fall. Yet in the modern era, it has become synonymous with the Assad regime's enduring grip on power. Despite years of conflict, the city remains firmly under the control of the Syrian government. The bustling streets, the government buildings, and the ever-present military patrols all serve as a testament to the regime's determination to maintain its hold over the capital. Assad's grip on power is deeply rooted in the Alawite community, a Shia sect that forms the backbone of his regime's security apparatus. This community, although a minority in the country, has been pivotal in supporting Assad through thick and thin, providing the necessary manpower and loyalty to sustain his rule. Over the years, the Syrian army, backed by Russian air power and Iranian-supported militias, has gradually regained control of key areas surrounding Damascus. The collaboration with these powerful allies has been crucial in turning the tide of the conflict in Assad's favor, allowing the regime to reclaim territories that were once lost to various opposition groups. This includes eastern Ghouta, once a rebel stronghold, which was subjected to a brutal siege and bombardment campaign that forced the opposition to surrender in 2018. The siege of eastern Ghouta was one of the most devastating episodes of the Syrian civil war, leaving a trail of destruction and a humanitarian crisis in its wake. The Syrian government's control over Damascus is crucial for its legitimacy and survival. The capital city is not just a political center but also a symbol of the regime's strength and stability. Maintaining control over Damascus allows the government to project an image of authority and normalcy, even as other parts of the country remain embroiled in conflict. The capital city houses key government institutions, military headquarters, and a significant portion of the country's remaining population. These institutions are the nerve centers of Assad's power, coordinating military operations, governance, and propaganda efforts to ensure the regime's continued dominance. However, the regime's grip on power comes at a heavy price. The relentless conflict has left deep scars on the city, with many neighborhoods reduced to rubble and countless lives disrupted. The physical and emotional toll on the residents of Damascus is immense, as they navigate the daily challenges of living in a war-torn environment. The city bears the scars of war, with widespread destruction and displacement. Entire communities have been uprooted, and the once vibrant urban landscape is now dotted with the remnants of buildings that once stood tall. The sense of loss is palpable, as families struggle to rebuild their lives amidst the ruins. The humanitarian situation remains dire, with many residents struggling to survive amidst economic hardship and a lack of basic services. Long queues for essentials like food, water, and medical supplies are a common sight, and the children of Damascus grow up in an environment marked by uncertainty and deprivation. Despite these challenges, the spirit of the people endures as they hold on to hope for a better future. Northern Syria presents a complex landscape, both geographically and politically. This region has become a focal point of various conflicting interests and aspirations, making it a hotbed of tension and uncertainty. Here, Kurdish aspirations for autonomy clash with Turkish security concerns, creating a volatile environment. The Kurdish population in northern Syria has long sought greater autonomy and self-governance, driven by a desire to preserve their cultural identity and political rights. The Syrian Democratic Forces, a Kurdish-led militia backed by the United States, gained control of large swaths of territory during the fight against ISIS. Their success on the battlefield not only weakened ISIS but also allowed them to establish a significant degree of control over northern Syria. This Kurdish-controlled region, known as Rojava, has established its own autonomous administration, promoting a secular and democratic model of governance. The Rojava administration has implemented progressive policies including gender equality and environmental sustainability, which have garnered international attention and support. However, Turkey views the Syrian Democratic Forces as an extension of the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, which it considers a terrorist organization. The PKK has been involved in a long-standing insurgency against the Turkish state, seeking greater autonomy and rights for Kurds in Turkey. Turkey fears that an autonomous Kurdish region in Syria could embolden Kurdish separatists within its own borders, potentially leading to increased unrest and violence. This fear has driven Turkey to take a hardline stance against the Syrian Democratic Forces and their control of Rojava. This has led to Turkish military incursions into northern Syria, targeting Syrian Democratic Forces positions and seeking to establish a buffer zone under its control. These incursions have been justified by Turkey as necessary for its national security, but they have also been criticized for causing significant civilian displacement and suffering. The Turkish interventions have further complicated the situation in northern Syria, displacing Kurdish populations and raising tensions with the United States, a NATO ally. The US has found itself in a difficult position, balancing its support for the Syrian Democratic Forces with its strategic alliance with Turkey. The future of Rojava remains uncertain, caught between Turkish hostility and the shifting sands of international alliances. The region's quest for autonomy faces significant challenges, and its fate will likely depend on the evolving dynamics of regional and global politics. Eastern Syria, once an ISIS stronghold, is now a patchwork of control, with the Syrian government, the Syrian Democratic Forces, and remnants of ISIS vying for influence. The US-led coalition played a crucial role in defeating ISIS, backing the Syrian Democratic Forces in a years-long campaign to liberate territory from the extremist group. However, the US military presence in eastern Syria remains a point of contention. While the official objective is to prevent an ISIS resurgence, the United States also seeks to counter Iranian influence in the region. Iran, along with its allied militias, has established a significant presence in eastern Syria, seeking to secure a land corridor from Tehran to Lebanon. This has raised concerns in Israel, which views Iran's entrenchment as a direct threat to its security. The complex web of actors and interests in eastern Syria makes it a volatile and unpredictable battleground. The enduring threat of ISIS, coupled with the U.S. military presence, continues to shape the region's future.